on, I can always cover for you in return.
Oh, thank you. Yes, well, that'd be fine. Yes, very kind of you, sir, very kind.
And of course it goes without saying that, you don't try and knock my house down while I'm away.
Oh, what? Good Lord, no, Mr. Dent.
Do you think we can trust him, Ford?
Myself, I'd trust him to the end of the earth.
Yes, but how far is that?
About 12 minutes away. Come on, I need a drink.
By drink, Ford prefix meant alcohol. The Encyclopedia Galactica describes alcohol as a colorless, volatile liquid formed by the fermentation of sugars and also notes its intoxicating effect on certain carbon-based life forms. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy also mentions alcohol. It says that the best drink in existence is the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, the effect of which is like having your brain smashed out by a slice of lemon wrapped around a large gold brick. The guide also tells you on which planets the best pan-galactic gargle blasters are mixed, how much you can expect to pay for one, and what voluntary organizations exist to help you rehabilitate.
6 pints of bitter and quickly, please. The world's about to end.
Oh, yes, sir. Nice weather for it. Going to watch the match this afternoon?
No point.
Foregone conclusions you reckon, sir. Arsenal without a chance?
No, it's just that the world's going to end.
Ah, yes, you said. Lucky escape for Arsenal if it did.
No, not really.
There you are, There you are, sir, 6 pints.
Keep the change.
What, from a fiver? Thank you, sir.
We've got 10 minutes left to spend it.
Ford, would you please tell me what the hell is going on?
Drink up, you got 3 pints to get through.
3 at lunchtime.
Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so.
Very deep. You should send that into the Reader's Digest. They've got pages for people like you.
Drink up.
Why 3 pints?
Muscle relaxants, you'll need it.
Did I do something wrong today, or has the world always been like this, and I've been too wrapped up in myself to notice?
All right, I'll try to explain. How long have we known each other, Arthur?
5 years, maybe 6. Most of it seemed to make some kind of sense at the time.
All right. How would you react if I said I'm not from Guilford after all, but from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Betelgeuse?
I don't know. Why? Do you think it's the sort of thing you're likely to say?
Drink up, the world's about to end.
Oh, this must be Thursday. I could never get the hang of Thursday.
On this particular Thursday, something was moving through the ionosphere miles above the surface of the planet, but few people on the surface of the planet were aware of it. One of the 6,000 million people who hadn't glanced into the ionosphere recently was called Lady Cynthia Fitzmilton. She was, at that moment, standing in front of Arthur Dent's house in Coddington. Many of those listening to her speech would probably have experienced great satisfaction to know that in 4 minutes' time she would evaporate into a whiff of hydrogen, ozone, and carbon monoxide. However, when the moment came, they would hardly notice, because they would be too busy evaporating themselves.
I have been asked to come here to say a few words to mark the beginning of the very splendid and worthwhile new Bedingford bypass.
Get off the stage! No!
And I must say immediately what a great honor and great privilege I think it must be for you, the people of Coddington, to have this gleaming new motorway going through your cruddy little village. Your little country village of cruddy Coddington. And I know how proud you must feel at this moment to know that your obscure and unsung hamlet will now arise reborn as the very splendid, worthwhile Coddington Service Station, providing welcome refreshment and sanitary relief for very weary traveler on his way.
No.
And I must say it gives me great pleasure to take this bottle of very splendid and worthwhile champagne and break it against the noble prow of this very splendid and worthwhile yellow bulldozer.
Get off!
What's that?
Don't worry, they haven't started yet.
Oh, good.
It's probably just your house being knocked down.
What?
Hardly makes any difference at this stage.
My God, it is. What are they doing? We had an agreement.
Let them have their fun.
Damn you and your fairy stories. They're smashing up my home. You half-crazed Visigoths, stop.
Arthur, come back. It's pointless. Hell, I better go after him. Barman, quickly, can you just give me 4 packets of peanuts?
Certainly, sir. There you are, 28 pence.
Keep the change.
Are you serious, sir? I mean, do you really think the world's going to end this afternoon?
Yes, in just over 1 minute and 35 seconds.
Well, isn't there anything we can do?
No, nothing.
Well, I always thought we were meant to lie down and put a paper bag over our head or something.
If you'd like, yes.
Well, will that help?
No. Excuse me, I've got to find my friend.
Very well then. Last orders, please.
You pinstripe barbarians! I'll sue the council for every penny it's got. I'll have you hung and drawn and quartered and whipped and boiled, and then I'll chop you up into little bits until you've had enough.
Arthur, don't bother. There isn't time. Get over here. There's only 10 seconds left.
And then I'll do it some more, and when I'm finished, I'll take all the little bits and I'll jump on them, and I'll carry on jumping on them until I've got blisters, or I can think of something even more unpleasant to do, and then I'll... What the hell's that?
Arthur, quick, over here.
But what is it?
It's a fleet of flying saucers. What do you think it is? Quick, you got to get hold of this rock.
What do you mean flying saucers?
Just that. It's a Vogon constructor fleet.
A what?
A Vogon constructor fleet. I picked up the news of their arrival a few hours ago on my sub-ether radio.
Ford, I don't think I can cope with any more of this. I think I'll just go and have a little lie down somewhere.
No, just stay here, keep calm, and take a hold of this.
People of Earth, your attention, please. This is Prosthetic Vogon Jeltz of the Galactic Hyperspace Planet Council. As you no doubt will be aware, the plans for the development of the outlying regions of the western spiral arm of the galaxy require the buildings of a hyperspace express route through your star system, and regrettably, your planet is one of those scheduled for demolition. The process will take slightly less than 2 of your Earth minutes. Thank you very much. There's no point in acting all surprised about it. All the planning charts and demolition orders have been on display at your local planning department in Alpha Centauri for 50 of your Earth years, so you've had plenty of time to lodge any formal complaints, and it's far too late to start making a fuss about it now.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean you've never been to Alpha Centauri? Oh, for heaven's sake, mankind, it's only 4 light years away, you know. I'm sorry, but if you can't be bothered to take an interest in local affairs, that's your own regard. Energize the demolition beams. God, I don't know. Apathetic bloody planet. I've no sympathy at all.
It is unknown if any of those on Earth heard the huge explosion. And if anyone ever did, we will never know. You see, the Earth was just destroyed. The huge explosion being a byproduct of the Vogon demolition team.
I bought some peanuts.
What?
If you've never been through a matter transference beam before, you've probably lost some salt and protein. The beer you've had should have cushioned your system a bit. How are you feeling?
Like a military academy. Bits of me keep on passing out. If I asked you where we were, would I regret it?
We're safe.
Oh, good.
We're in a small galley cabin in one of the spaceships of the Vogon constructor fleet.
Ah, this is obviously some sort of strange usage of the word safe that I wasn't previously aware of.
I'll have a look for the light.
All right, how did we get here?
We hitched a lift.
Excuse me, are you trying to tell me that we just stuck out our thumbs and some bug-eyed monster stuck out his head and said, "Hi, fellows, hop right in, I can take you as far as the Basingstoke roundabout"?
Well, the thumb's an electronic sub-ether device. The roundabout's at Bernard's star 6 light years away, but otherwise, that's more or less right.
And the bug-eyed monster?
Is green, yes.
Fine, when can I go home?
You can't. Ah, I found the light.
Good grief, is this really the interior of a flying saucer?
It certainly is. What do you think?
Well, it's a bit squalid, isn't it?
What did you expect?
Well, I don't know, gleaming control panels, flashing lights, computer screens, not old mattresses.
These are the Denstrossi sleeping quarters.
I thought you said they were called Bogons or something.
The Vogons run the ship. The Denstrossi are the cooks. They let us on board.
I'm confused.
Here, have a look at this.
What is it?
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's sort of an electronic book. It'll tell you everything you want to know. That's its job.
I like the cover. Don't panic. It's the first helpful or intelligible thing anyone said to me all day.
That's why it sells so well. Here, press this button and the screen will give you the index. You've got several million entries, so fast wind through the index to V. There you are. Vogon constructor fleets. Enter that code on the tabulator and read what it says.
Bing!
Vogon constructor fleets. Here is what you need to do if you want to get a lift from a Vogon. Forget it. They're one of the most unpleasant races in the galaxy. Not exactly evil, but bad-tempered, bureaucratic, officious, and callous. They wouldn't even lift a finger to save their own grandmothers from the ravenous bug-bladder beast of Trow, without orders signed in triplicate, sent in, sent back, quarried, lost, found, subjected to public inquiry, lost again, and finally buried in a soft pit for 3 months and recycled as firelighters. The best way to get a drink out of a Vogon is to stick his finger down his throat, and the best way to irritate him is to feed his grandmother to the ravenous bug-bladder beast of Trow.
What a strange book. How did we get a lift then?
Well, that's the point. It's out of date now. I'm doing the field research for the new revised edition of the guide. So, for instance, I will have to include a revision pointing out that since the Vogons have made so much money being professionally unpleasant, they can now afford to employ Denstrasi cooks, which gives us a rather useful little loophole.
Who are the Dentrasi?
The best cooks and the best drink mixers, and they don't give a wet slap about anything else, and they will always help hitchhikers on board, partly because they like the company, but mostly because it annoys the Vogons, which is exactly the sort of thing you need to know if you're an impoverished hitchhiker trying to see the marvels of the galaxy for less than $30 trillion a day. And that's my job. Fun, isn't it?
It's amazing.
Unfortunately, I got stuck on Earth for rather longer than I intended. I came for a week and was stranded for 15 years.
But how did you get there in the first place?
Oh, easy. I got a lift with a teaser. You don't know what a teaser is. I'll tell you. Teasers are usually rich kids with nothing to do. They cruise around looking for planets which haven't made interstellar contact yet and buzz them.
Ah, buzz them?
Yeah. They find some isolated spot with very few people around, then land by some poor unsuspecting soul who no one's ever going to believe, then strut up and down in front of them, wearing silly antennae on their head, making beep beep noises. Rather childish, really.
Yeah. Ford, I don't know if this sounds like a silly question, but what am I doing here?
Well, you know that. I rescued you from the Earth.
And what has happened to the Earth?
Oh, it's been disintegrated.
Has it?
Yes, it just boiled away into space.
Look, I'm a bit upset about that.
Yes, I can understand.
So what do I do?
You come along with me and enjoy yourself. You'll have to have this fish in your ear.
I beg your pardon.
What
What the devil's that?
Listen, it might be important.
What?
It's the Vogon captain making an announcement on the PA.
But I can't speak Vogon.
You don't need to. Just put the fish in your ear. Come on, it's only a little one.
Ah!
Should have a good time. Message repeat. This is your captain speaking, so stop whatever you're doing and pay attention. First of all, I see from our instruments that we have a couple of hitchhikers aboard our ship. Hello, wherever you are. I just want to make it totally clear that you are not welcome at all. I worked hard to get where I am today, and I didn't become captain of a Vogon constructor fleet simply so I could turn it into a taxi service for degenerate freeloaders. I have sent out a search party. As soon as I find you, I will put you off this ship. If you're very lucky, I might read you some of my poetry first. Secondly, we are about to jump into hyperspace for the journey to Barnard Star. On arrival, we will stay in dock for a 72-hour refit, and no one's to leave the ship during that time. I repeat, all planet leave is cancelled. I've just had an unhappy love affair, so I don't see why anyone else should have a good time. Message ends.
Charming, these Vogons. I wish I had a daughter so I could forbid her to marry one.
You wouldn't need to. They've got as much sex appeal as a road accident. And you better be prepared for the jump into hyperspace. It's unpleasantly like being drunk.
Well, what's so unpleasant about being drunk?
You ask a glass of water.
Ford,
Yes?
what's this fish doing in my ear?
Translating for you. Look under Babelfish in the book.
What's happening?
We're going into hyperspace.
Ah, I'll never be cruel to a gin and tonic again.
The Babelfish is small, yellow, leash-like, and probably the oddest thing in the universe. It feeds on brainwave energy, absorbing all unconscious frequencies and excreting them telepathically. A matrix formed the conscious frequencies and nerve signals picked up by the speech center of the brain. The practical upshot of which, if you stick one in your ear, you can instantly understand anything said to you in any form of language. The speech you hear decodes the brainwave matrix. Now it is such a bizarrely improbable coincidence that anything so mind-bogglingly useful could evolve purely by chance that some thinkers have chosen to see it as the last clinching proof of the non-existence of God. The argument goes something like this.
I refuse to prove that I exist, says God, for proof denies faith, and without faith I am nothing.
But, said man, the babblefish is a dead giveaway, isn't it? It proves you exist, so therefore you don't. QED.
Oh dear, says God, I hadn't thought of that, and promptly vanished in a puff of logic.
Oh, that was easy, says man. And for an encore, he proves that black is white and gets killed on the next zebra crossing.
Most leading theologians claim that this argument is a load of dingo's kidneys, but that didn't stop Oolong Colofid making a small fortune when he used it as the central theme of his best-selling book. Well, that about wraps it up for God. Meanwhile, the poor babblefish, by effectively removing all barriers to communication between different cultures and races, has caused more bloodier wars than anything else in the history of creation.
What an extraordinary book.
Help me write the new edition.
No, I want to go back to Earth again. I'm afraid, or its nearest equivalent.
You're turning down 100 billion new worlds to explore.
Did you get much useful material on Earth?
I was able to extend the entry, yes.
Well, let's see what it's got in this edition then.
Okay.
Let's see. Earth. Tap out the code. There's the page. Well, it doesn't seem to have an entry.
Yes, it does, right at the bottom of the screen. Just under Eccentrica Galumpics, the triple-breasted whore of Eroticon 6.
What, there? Oh, yes. Harmless. Harmless? Is that all it's got to say? One word. Harmless. What the hell's that supposed to mean?
Well, there are 100 billion stars in the galaxy and a limited amount of space in the book. And no one knew much about Earth, of course.
Well, I hope you managed to rectify that a bit.
Yes, I transmitted a new entry off to the editor. He had to trim it down a bit, but it's still an improvement.
What does it say now?
Mostly harmless.
Mostly harmless?
Well, that's the way it is. We're on a different scale now.
Okay, Ford, I'm with you. I'm bloody well coming with you. Where are we now?
Not far from Bernard's Star. It's a beautiful place and sort of a hyperspace juncture. You can virtually get anywhere from there. That is, assuming we actually get there.
What's that?
Well, if we're lucky, it's just the Vogons come to throw us into space.
And if we're unlucky?
If we're unlucky, the captain might want to read us some of his poetry first.
Vogon poetry is, of course, the third worst in the universe. The second worst is that of the Asgoths of Krea. During a recitation by their poet master, Grunthos the Flatulent, of his poem, Ode to a Small Lump of Green Putty I Found in My Armpit One Midsummer Morning, 4 of his audience died of eternal hemorrhaging, and the president of the Mid-Galactic Arts Nobbling Council survived by gnawing one of his own legs off. Grunthos was reported to have been disappointed by the poem's reception, and was about to embark on reading of his 12th book, epic entitled My Favorite Bath Time Gurgles, when his own major intestine, in a desperate attempt to save humanity, leapt straight up through his neck and throttled his brain. The very worst poetry of all perished along with its creator, Paula Nancy Millstone, Jennings of Greenbridge, in the destruction of planet Earth. Vogon poetry is mild by comparison, and when the Vogon captain began to read, it provoked this reaction from Ford Prefect.
Oh, no!
And this from Arthur Dent.
Make it stop, please!
Oh, Freddled Grunt Bugly,
Oh, no!
thy micturations are to me, as
Please,
Prodled
no.
Gabble Blotchen Lurgid be. Group, I implore thee, my fruiting turling drums,
No!
and
Make it stop,
courteously drangle
please.
me with crinkly brindle wordles, for I will rend thee in the gobber warts with my blurgian crunchian, see if I don't.
Enough! Please! Stop!
So, Earthlings, I present you with a simple choice. I was going to throw you straight out into the empty blackness of space to die horribly and slowly. But there is one simple way, in which you may save yourselves. Now think very carefully, for you hold your very lives in your hands. Now choose. Either die in the vacuum of space, or... Tell me how good you thought my poem was.
Will our heroes survive this terrible ordeal? Can they win through with their integrity unscathed? Can they escape without completely compromising their honor and artistic judgment? To answer these questions, you will have to write to WDVR and demand more Hitchhikers. In tonight's episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Emma played the book and Lady Cynthia Fitzmilton while helping us fine-tune the sound effects. Dominique was Arthur Dent, and Charlie played the role of our visiting alien from Beetlejuice, Ford Prefect. Delia had multiple roles, including Prosser, the barman, and that hard-to-pin-down philosophical spirit of humanity. Dylan also had multiple roles tonight as he both narrated the episode and played the Vogon captain, whose take on poetry was exquisite. Now, it has been an honor to bring this gifted group of actors along to WDVR. We hope you enjoyed the show. And now we bid adieu and hand the microphone back over to Jethro.
Very nice. Can we get some applause here for yourselves? Great show. That was great. You guys been practicing a while, huh?
Yeah.
Very good. You gonna work on another one?
I hope so.
Depends.
You hope so, yeah. Are the adults ever working on one again, or what here?
Well, we're writing and taking the summer off, yeah.
All right. So we got more plays coming up in a while, a few months, whatever.
Yeah.
But that was good. Now, what are you doing the rest of the summer? And since you already did this, it's only July.
Camps.
What are you doing?
Camps. Like,
Camps? What kind of camp?
I went to a climbing camp this week. Last week I went to an earth camp, and next week I'm going to an art camp.
But you're always at Earth Camp. What about you? What are you doing?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, probably just.
You can come down here and
Yeah.
answer phones and stuff, you know. You can always use help down here. Anything?
I don't know. I want to go to Dorney Park.
Oh yeah, doesn't that Roddy?
That's only for like a
I
day.
went today.
You got a month and a half.
Oh my God.
Don't you have a month and a half off yet before you go back to school? Or 5 weeks or so?
I have no idea.
Where do you all live? You all from like
I
Frenchtown
live in
area?
Frenchtown.
Frenchtown.
I live in Kingwood.
Farmington.
Oh, okay. So do you all know each other in school outside of the book garden?
No.
No.
I don't go to
Oh, you
know
don't?
my sister.
You go to all different schools.
In different classes.
Well, I mentioned that before.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. We have to take our break that we didn't take at 7:30 and then go to our 8 o'clock break. But thank you so much for doing that. That was a lot of fun, and I hope you come back and do another one someday. All right?
We'll take you at your word for that one. There you
Yeah?
go. Put that in writing and sign it, would you?
Yeah.
So we can come right back.
No problem. Always fun. Always fun.
Terrific.
Thank you very much. I'm going to just put what do I got here? I got something to put on here, and then that'll take us up to the break.